To begin Phase 1 of the installation, gathering information about our computer, we'll click on the Next button. We'll be prompted to personalize the installation by typing in our name and organization. In the name field, we'll type in User, and in the organization field, we'll type in Viagrafix. Then we'll click on the Next button. Now we are prompted to type in the registration CD key. After it is entered, we'll click on the Next button. Now appear on screen. We'll select the Per Server option, choose 10 concurrent connections, and click on the Next button. Now we'll type in our computer name. We'll enter PDC2 and click on the Next button. The Server Type screen will prompt us to select our server type. We'll choose the Primary Domain Controller option and then click on the Next button. Now we'll need to specify an administrator account password. Remember, this password must be 14 characters or less. We'll enter the password in the password box and then we'll retype it in the Confirm Password box. Let's click on the Next button. When prompted to create an emergency backup disk, we'll choose Yes. At this point, we'll need to supply a formatted high-density floppy disk. Click on the Next button. The Select Component screen will appear, but we'll accept the default choices and click on the Next button. Phase 2 of the installation, installing NT networking, is now ready to begin. We'll click on the Next button to continue. The NT server setup screen will ask us how our computer should participate on the network. We'll select the Wired to the Network option and click on the Next button. The Microsoft Windows NT Server setup will now ask us whether we want to install the Microsoft Internet Information Server. We don't want to, so click on the Next button. NT Setup will now search for our network adapter. We'll need to click on the Start Search button to begin the search, and after the adapter is found, we'll click on the Next button. The Network Protocol screen will appear. Here we'll leave the default settings for TCP/IP and NWLink IPX SPX compatible transport, and click on the Next button. Then the Network Services screen will appear. Again, we'll leave the default services, the RPC configuration, the NetBIOS interface, and Workstation, and then Server. Then we'll click on the Next button. The Network Card Setup screen will appear, then we'll click on the Next button. The Ethernet ID input dialog box will appear, and we'll click on the Skip button. Because we chose to install TCP/IP, we are now prompted to configure the TCP/IP settings. We'll get the following message. If there is a DHCP server, TCP/IP can be configured dynamically to provide an IP address. If you are not sure, ask your system administrator. Do you wish to use DHCP? We'll choose No, and the setup program will copy the files related to the networking components we have chosen. Now the IP address configuration screen will appear. We'll click on the Specify an IP address option. For the IP address, we'll enter 132.200.2.2. For the subnet mask, we'll leave 255.255.0.0, and we'll leave the default gateway option blank. Let's click on the OK button. The Network Binding screen will appear. Here we'll keep all of the default settings and click on the Next button. Then we're prompted to click on the Next button again to start the network. Now we are asked to supply our computer name and domain name. For the domain name, we'll type in Domain2 and click on the Next button. The final phase of the setup begins now, and we will see the finishing the setup screen. We'll click on the Next button, and the setup program will complete some configuration information based on the options we have selected. The next installation screen will prompt us for the date and time properties. Windows NT will pick up the date and time from our computer's CMOS information. The time zone will default to the Greenwich Mean Time. But since our time zone is already selected, we'll click on the Close button. Next, Windows NT will detect our video adapter. If the correct video driver appears, we'll choose the OK button. We'll click on the Test button to test our display. This process will take about 5 seconds. Windows NT will ask us, did you see the test bitmap properly? If the display is correct, we'll select the Yes button. Then we'll click on the OK button to close the display setting window. Windows NT will now complete copying the NT system files. When the file copy is complete, we will be prompted to insert a floppy disk. This will become our emergency repair disk. We'll insert the floppy disk into our A drive and click on the Next button. Finally, we'll remove the floppy disk, reboot the computer, and the second Windows NT server is now installed.